Welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on your real estate transactions. This week we are taking you around the city talking with different superintendents about how their first week of school went, and we want to talk to you about a great school district because, you know, all of our school districts do really well here in Texas. They are growing, obviously, all over because of the growth of people moving in and purchasing homes and the job growth here in the Houston area. But Fort Bend is really on a growing spree. So I'm really happy to have Charles DuPre here in the studio with me talking about Fort Bend ISD. He's the superintendent over there, and he offers a unique perspective, which is really interesting because he hasn't taught school before. He has a background in accounting. He was a certified public accountant. And so he has a really unique background of now being a superintendent of a school district and never having taught students. It's really interesting. I like it.
Thank you, Shannon.
So you really have a big financial background, which helps when you're working with the board and all the growth that's gone on over in Fort Bend.
Well, that's true. When you look at all of our budgets combined, the various funds, we really have close to $1 billion a year that we spend.
That's a lot of money.
So it is helpful to have a financial background. But I've learned also, you know, you've got to have that heart for students at the forefront.
Yeah.
All the money sense in the world is not helpful if you don't care about students and are committed to supporting your teachers and doing their job every day.
I know you support the community. RREA Media was on location over at Aliana a couple weeks ago at their big event, and boy, the students were outpouring at that event, and the teachers around the new elementary school, and you were even at that event.
I sure was. That was an amazing evening. We were so proud. The principal of that school has done a phenomenal job of just inspiring that community. Their building, actually, we built it very quickly. And so the teachers didn't even get in until last week. I mean, like literally 5 days they had to get ready to open school.
Wow.
So we hosted that event at the clubhouse in Aliana, and they were a remarkable host. Just the pizza, the drinks, and they actually ran out of food. Just so many children showed up. They weren't expecting that many.
So over at Aliana, you've got a lot of teachers as well as students moving into that community.
We sure do. It's just a very vibrant community. It's one of 3 communities in our district that are on fire right now, growing very rapidly.
That's exciting. So that's your newest elementary school that you're opening this school year?
It sure is. It's called Madden Elementary. It's named for 2 educators who worked between the 2 of them over 60 years in our school district.
That's exciting.
And it is cool. They were even there that evening.
Wow.
And they've just been on the tour, inspiring everyone this year. And of course, we're going to have a big dedication for the building in October. There's going to be a tribute to them that day, and we're going to have a big display in there. So it's really neat to honor the historical, all these people who have taught and worked in our community.
That is exciting. Well, now that we've had the first day of school,
That's right.
Let's hear some exciting stories. How did things go on the first day of school? Did it run as smoothly as you had anticipated?
Honestly, it went more smoothly than I had anticipated.
That's good.
This is this is my 3rd year as superintendent.
Okay.
And we have just built a team. Our board of trustees, our senior leaders, every director, every school principal, everyone is committed to rolling up their sleeves, working hard to do what they have to do. And so we've really done a good job the last 3 years of putting systems and processes in place. So we were very well prepared for the first day.
What kind of systems? I know you are into putting in systems, making everything run very smoothly. Give us some examples of the kinds of systems and processes you put in place in a school district to make it run efficiently for the students.
Well, there's a couple that I think most parents would be very interested in. First of all, you know, with our rapid growth, we do a really good job of projecting how many students are going to show up, but we're never 100% certain.
Right.
So some days of the first day of school, you might have one school that has a lot more 3rd graders than you expected. And so you've got to be in a position where you can bring in a new teacher and get a new classroom set up very rapidly. And sometimes you have fewer students show up than expected. So you need to be able to kind of combine those students and take that teacher and reassign them where you need them, perhaps a school that needed that 3rd grade teacher. And so being able to do that kind of work efficiently and effectively, we need to do it as rapidly as possible because students, they fall in love with their teachers quickly.
Yes.
So we don't want to
pull
disrupt
the teacher. Their schedule.
That's exactly right. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
Transportation is another one. This year, our transportation department did a remarkable job. We had a few glitches simply because we're moving 40,000 students.
It's a lot.
And we had 5,000 plus that have been rezoned to new schools this year.
Okay.
And we're in this major transition plan of all new boundaries. So given the magnitude of what they had to accomplish this year, the handful of calls and emails I've gotten of concern are far overwhelmed by all the positive things and the successes our transportation department enjoyed.
That's fantastic.
We got all those kids home on time, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's very good.
If we don't lose a kindergartner on the first day of school, it's a good day.
You know, I used to teach school, and I remember on the first day of kindergarten, there were students who came to school. Their parents worked, and they had to send them on buses or send them with friends, to school. And these kindergartners would have their a little piece of paper like clipped to their shirt saying what teacher, what class, so they didn't get lost.
That's right.
It's just so cute. So adults could just look at them and escort them where they needed to go. So
that's it.
But I have a second grader, and I still worry about him, on the first day of school. But it went smoothly, went great for him.
That's good.
Yeah. So how many, you said you have about 40,000 students?
No, for about 40,000 ride buses.
Oh, okay. How many students
We're
in the
expecting
district?
to educate nearly 74,000 students this year.
Wow, that's a lot. Now, don't they pre-register? Don't y'all do that over the summer so that you will know how many kids are coming on Monday? Or do they show up on Monday and you didn't know they were coming?
No, we actually there's a couple of dynamics at play. We've got an amazing new online enrollment system. Okay. So they can go online and register, and then they show up, and then they're all in the system once they've registered.
Okay.
But what we deal with every year is a couple of dynamics. One, we have what we call no-shows. Students who registered perhaps in the spring, but then during the summer they've moved away, or for whatever reason they just don't come back.
Okay.
And so we have to kind of account for those students on the first day to kind of balance our enrollment. But then we also have this phenomenon, especially I think it's a Texas trend, especially with our changing population. We're gonna start out a little lower, but then we're going to start going up, and we'll peak after Labor Day. There's a lot of children who still just don't show up until after Labor Day.
There are a lot of people who are trying to close on houses, and the lenders are having problems closing it, and it extends it out, and they don't get in their house in time. They can't register for school without being in that district.
No, we do let those children register if they bring a contract to the school.
So if they're under contract,
if they have that contract, we will enroll them, because we don't want to put that family in a position of having to start somewhere and bounce around. So when they
just have to find transportation to get them over there.
That's right.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good that you'll do that for temporary housing and people who are getting out of leases and moving on. That's very good. All right, so a lot of systems in place, a lot of things that you're doing to make sure everything runs smoothly. How many high schools do you have?
We have 11 high schools right now.
That's a lot.
It is.
11 football teams?
That's right. A lot. No, more than 11. 11 varsity football teams. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, we have some strong teams in Fort Bend ISD.
That's good. That's good. You think of state championships in your future?
I think it definitely is.
All right, let's talk about middle schools. How many middle schools do you have?
We have 14, and we're expecting to break ground on the 15th middle school during the coming year or so. Okay,
now do you go from elementary to middle school to high school, or do you have like a fifth grade campus? I mean, how does that break down?
No, we are pre-K to 5, and then our middle school is 6 to 8, and then high school goes from 9 to 12.
So y'all are kind of the standards, because some districts are a little different. They'll have a fifth grade campus and then 6th and 7th grade together, and it kind of, some of them are a little odd how they break them up.
There's a lot of different configurations at work, and a lot of it's a community choice, but ours works very well for us.
That's good. Well, that's exciting. So this school year, any projects planned that you're working on?
Well, honestly, our biggest we have, if you paid attention to Fort Bend, during the last 2 years, we did a master facilities plan. We had a $500 million bond, and we rezoned the entire district. So this year, our focus is truly just starting the year and ending this year with a strong push on instruction. We don't have any major projects like that at this point. We're executing on our bond program that our community overwhelmingly supported last November. So we're building and doing and growing. But our real goal is to build relationships with every single student so we can really help to shape their future.
Very good. Well, that's exciting. I know that the communities out there are growing and your school district's growing, so it's very exciting. We appreciate you coming on. Charles DuPre, he's the superintendent of Fort Bend ISD. We'll be right back with another one of our superintendents from the Houston area. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio, and if you missed any of today's show, you can catch us online at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
People often find themselves in need of storage and moving, but don't want the hassle and stress. Sound familiar? Well, at Zippy Shell, we make storage and moving easy. Zippy Shell will deliver a storage container to your home or business. You load it at your leisure, and we'll take it to one of our safe, convenient storage facilities, or ship it to your final destination. We treat your stuff like it's our stuff, because we understand you're not just giving us your belongings, you're giving us your trust. Zippy Shell, storage and moving that makes life simple.